Hello there. My name is Ed Barley. I'm a member of staff at the University of Liverpool. I work on short programs, which includes summer programs. And today I'm going to talk to you about one course in particular, which is the University of Liverpool's International Summer School. Now, normally, I would be coming to you from my office in the University of Liverpool. However, with circumstances as they are, I'm working from home, as most people in the university are at the moment. So it's all a bit strange, but we're looking forward to getting back to normal, and we are really excited about next year. Everybody's looking forward to doing something bigger and better next year, and that's what I want to talk about. I know everything is very strange at the moment, but the International Summer School 2021 is hopefully going to be bigger and better than ever before. So I'm going to introduce the university. I'm going to introduce the course itself, talk a little bit about the city, talk a little bit about what to expect from a summer school. And I think it's important that I cover kind of what a summer school is and what a summer school isn't, just because I think sometimes people are not 100% clear on what a summer school is for. Is it for me? So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to say clearly whether a summer school is for you or not for you. So this is us. We're a small team working within the university. As you can see, that's me in the middle. This picture was taken before my lockdown haircut, so looking a little bit different there. So this is the presentation which we're going to cover. I will go through the presentation, but please ask questions about the program. It's really important that I feel that I'm answering the questions you need to know about. And it's also even more important that you finish this presentation feeling like you've had your questions answered and you know exactly what it is that you're looking at for next summer. So first of all, the University of Liverpool. Very quickly, it's known as one of the most research intensive universities in the UK. Founded in 1881, so we've got a long history of being within the city of Liverpool, providing important research functions and teaching people from all over the world. If you've done any research about universities in the UK, you may have heard the term red brick university. And what that means normally is that it's a city-based university, which was kind of designed to sit within the center of the city and to contribute to the life of the city, to the education of the people within the city. And Liverpool was actually the original red brick university. So we're very proud of that. Top 1% of universities worldwide, and a member of the Russell Group. So this is kind of, if you're not familiar with the Russell Group, this is a group of universities in the UK who have strong research abilities, who have demonstrated sort of results for their students, and it's a sign of quality. It's a sign of sort of a university being very well established, I suppose is the word. Now, Liverpool. A lot of people are familiar with Liverpool, and when I go out to Turkey or wherever, and I talk to people, there's a few things that people normally mention. The first is normally the football. So of course Liverpool is very famous for Anfield, for the two football teams that exist within the city. Also, a lot of people know about the river, the Mersey. There's a very famous song, the ferry across the Mersey. But it's also a very important part of the Liverpool identity. We are on the river. We're very much a port city, similar to, I suppose, Istanbul, where we've constantly always been connected to the rest of the world through the port. That's an important thing about Liverpool. And of course, the Beatles. Most people, if they only name one thing about Liverpool, it's either football or the Beatles, and that's fine. These are all, really important elements of Liverpool's identity, and they're things that if you visit Liverpool, if you come and study with us, you will see referenced, and you will start to feel an identity with these things. But there is more to Liverpool. Liverpool is a city which has got an incredibly strong culture of food, of bars, of going out, but also it's a city with really, really stunning, interesting architecture. We are home to the Royal Institute of British Architects North. This is in fact their building here on the right. But equally, the seafront, the waterfront at Liverpool is actually UNESCO listed. So it's very, very sort of beautiful, ornate buildings, and recognized around the world as being an important sort of architectural space. But food, bars, there's a lot of stuff going on in Liverpool. At the moment, a lot of it is closed, but of course, everything will bounce back. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize about Liverpool is how green it is. It's a city that's got lots and lots of green space, lots of parks, lots of spaces for you to go relax with friends, lots of spaces where you can walk around, get a bike, whatever it might be. But also, we've got beaches, and a lot of people don't realize that Liverpool is, of course, on the coast. And if you're on the coast, often you'll have beaches, and we have a whole coastline of sandy beaches coming up from north of Liverpool. I'm not going to say necessarily you would want to swim every day because it's still the UK, but people do, and it's definitely worth exploring. So Liverpool has got a lot of things going for it. One thing I will mention is quite a famous statistic, that Liverpool actually has more museums and galleries than any city outside of London. So after London, we have the most galleries and museums, and most of them are free. And one thing I would say is that if you're only going to be in a city for a small amount of time, 3 weeks, a month, whatever it might be, it's a great idea to pick one that is kind of not a huge global mega city, just because after a few weeks, you can feel like you understand the city, and that's really important. And Liverpool is a relatively small city. It's much, much smaller than London, much, much smaller than Manchester. And you feel that kind of that in the pace of life. You feel that in the way in which you can kind of walk around the city rather than having to take taxis and trains and buses. And it also means that the people are kind of maybe less rushed and have got more time to speak to people and to speak to visitors and students who are coming into the city. We are famous for being a friendly city, and that's really, really important to the identity of Liverpool. So onto the university, onto the summer school rather. So I'm going to very quickly run through just a basic introduction and then go into a bit more detail. So what is a summer school? Who is it for? What are the benefits? A university summer school, this is important, is an authentic experience of a UK university. And what that means is that you will be living on campus. You will have access to libraries, you have access to the computing facilities, all of the facilities of the university. And you will be using the classrooms, you'll be using the facilities, you potentially the gyms, the cafes, everything. You will be a member of the university throughout your period of studying with us, and that could be 3 weeks or it could be 6. Our course is academic. What that means is that we offer a variety of pathways around various different subjects or themes. It could be business, it could be cultural history, it could be global health. So there's a range of courses, and this is important. Our courses are also credit bearing. So that means that the programs, the modules which you will take as part of the course can be used in your home institution. So it might be that your university in Turkey recognize the summer school as a part of your course. What it also means is that you know that the sessions which you are doing, the academic sessions, are of a good quality. That means you'll be taught by academics or people who are doing research at the university. So you'll have the opportunity to learn with people who are really kind of pushing understanding of subjects. The other thing, it's international. We call it the International Summer School because it's very international, of course. Last year, or 2019, we recruited students from, I think it's about 15 different countries. So it's a real mix, and you'll see that mix in your classroom. So it's an opportunity for you not just to learn from your tutor, not just to learn from the person teaching you, but from everybody within the classroom. You'll have people who've got very different world experiences from you, people who've got a very different understanding of a subject, and that's really important. And the other nice thing is that, of course, after 3 weeks or 6 weeks on campus with these people, staying in accommodation with them, socializing with them, you'll have a group of really, really international friends. So we see this on Facebook after that, in the year following people's time with us. They're still connecting, still tagging each other in photos, and you've got people from Turkey, sharing images with people from Korea, from Mexico. It's a real diverse mix of people, which is amazing. Really, really nice to see. And finally, 3 or 6 weeks on campus. So you can choose to do a 3-week or a 6-week course. And this is important too. It is not a punishment. Sometimes when I say summer school to people think that it's a way of kind of making up your grades. If you haven't done as well as you'd hoped, or your GPA is low, you come in and you do a summer school to try and raise your level. That's not the case. Summer schools are very much an option, and it's something that people choose to do because they want to widen their experience. So when they're looking for a job or when they're applying for postgraduate study, they can demonstrate that they've done something different and interesting. It's not a summer camp, and it's not designed to be easy. This is a Russell Group University, as I've said, and the courses we teach are real academic courses. They're short, but they're definitely authentic programs. And that means that they're not going to be super easy. They will be challenging. You'll have to work, but at the end of it, you'll feel that you've really earned your graduation. And in the background, you'll see a picture from the graduation certificate, and everybody leaves with as a Liverpool alumni. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So it is for undergraduate students, either current undergraduate students or students who have just finished in the last few years their undergraduate study and are maybe looking to explore a bit, find out a bit more about UK education. People who are independently minded. And this is the thing that always really impresses me with the students who come. They're very focused on their learning, but they've also kind of got this ability to do something a bit different. They have found out about the course, they've made contact with us and applied either independently or through their university. And they've come here on their own to Liverpool, on the other side of the world sometimes, for the sake of their education. And I think that's brilliant. They're very curious people. They want to find out more. They want to understand about their subject, but they also want to find out about the UK, about Liverpool University. And they're keen to stand out. So when they know that when they finish this program, they will have something on their resume, something on their CV or their academic record that makes them seem a bit different to everybody else. And that's really important, especially with the competitive job market. It's important to be able to say, well, I did this and I did it independently, and that's brilliant. The other thing, that tend to be quite academic, and they need to have an IELTS of 5. And I'll talk about entry requirements a little bit later on. So very quickly, obviously, it's a summer school, and these are the dates of our summer school in 2021. As you will see, you have the option to take a 3-week course or a 6-week course. So you can choose the first 3-week course, the second 3-week course, or do everything as a 6-week program. This is all on the website, so obviously you don't have to remember any of this, and I'll give you a link later on. Tuition fees, again, this is all on the website, but this gives you an idea. The only thing that's worth mentioning here is that there are discounts available if you apply early. So although it seems very, very early now to think about 2021, there's no harm in starting to plan, because if you apply early, you could potentially save some money on your tuition fees. Okay, so as I mentioned, the program teaches lots of different modules, and these are the pathways that we teach. You can choose modules from within pathways. So you might choose to do just business. You might say, I'm a business student, I only want to learn business. Or you can pick and choose from different areas. So you might do some business, you might do some science, you might do some international relations or history, and you can kind of create your own program. And that's really nice, because it means you can be flexible about what you want to learn. And we're very happy to see people make their own decisions. This is worth mentioning. In 2021, we've moved on to the option of having longer modules, bigger modules, which are 15 credit. What that means is that instead of choosing lots of different modules, you can choose 1 or maybe 2 modules and go into more detail. So you might choose to do, for example, intercultural leadership and business, and that will be the only thing that you do. Or you might do slavery and the shaping of space in Liverpool, or Shakespeare, to cover one subject in lots of detail. And that's an option too. We're also offering for 2021, at the beginning, if you remember, I mentioned that you need to have an IELTS score of 5. Now, for the general course, the academic program, you will need to have an equivalent of IELTS 6. That opens the door for the whole program to do the academic modules, to do anything you want. If you don't quite have that, if you have an IELTS of between 5 and 6, you have the option to do English for communication skills. And this is, again, a 3-week program, which is focused on kind of building your language levels. So you will do some English for employability, you will do some cultural work. It's a really fun course, and it will improve your language, but it's not a typical general English course. So it is very much focused on the skills you need at a university. So if you have a 5, that's open for you. If you have a 6, you can do the academic program. Okay, this is worth talking about for a while. I said at the beginning, if you join the program, you are a university student. So you are a University of Liverpool student, and that's 100%. It means you get a university card. So you'll get your ID card, which means you get access to everything. It means you get discounts within the city. You can use the sports centre. You're a member of the Guild of Students, which is the equivalent of the student union. Access to libraries, computing facilities, all of the support that you need, and of course accommodation. This is a big question. Where do I live? Where will I stay? You stay on campus in the same accommodation that undergraduates stay in for their main programs. So normally that is a single occupancy room, and then you will share a kitchen and social space with 5 or 6 other students. So you have your own space, but you have a social space, and it's all on campus. So you are very much a fully registered student at the university. And it's worth mentioning, in fact, that when you leave the university, you still have the connection, because you become what's called a university alumni. And that means that you are recognized as somebody who has studied at the university, and you're eligible for discounts on future study. So let's say you come do the summer school, really have a good time, and then you decide in a couple of years' time you want to do a postgraduate study. Come and do 1-year masters. Because you studied with us previously, you will be eligible for a discount on your tuition fee because you are an alumni, because you studied the summer school. I won't do too much detail of this, but this is sort of the amount of hours you can expect. So generally, for each module, it will be about 12 to 18 student hours, classroom hours. Credits I mentioned previously. So you do earn credits from this course. We use University of Liverpool credits, but they're very easily transferred to what's called ECTS, European Credit Transfer System. What that means is that it's easily recognized by most universities in the world. It's kind of a standard system for credits. So we will give you a transcript, and then we're very happy to work with your university to make sure that your study with us is recognized. And we have connections with lots of different universities, and we're very happy to receive introductions or to be put in touch with universities so we can make sure that you get the credits and that you've worked for. Accommodation, I did mention, 10 minutes walk from the class, shared kitchen, social space, and of course, very important, Wi-Fi. The whole campus is connected to a Wi-Fi system, so you've got no worries about connecting to home, and you have a fully equipped kitchen, a fully equipped social space. So you'll have, sofas for relaxing, a little breakfast bar, all of that. It's pretty good, and there are some videos which I will share of the accommodation later on. Now, although I said at the beginning that it is an academic program, it is designed to get you sort of working and thinking and get you credits from your discipline. Of course, there's a social and welfare side to things. So, because we're in Liverpool, we take you to visit Anfield. We take you on a day trip to Anfield, and you can go and visit the museum there, take your picture in the changing rooms, all of that. That's a really, really fun trip. And all of this is included within the fee for the program. We're very lucky being in Liverpool. We're very close to Wales, and Wales has a lot of fantastic castles which are within a day trip. So we take students to Conway Castle, wander around the ruins of the castle, pretend to be a princess, whatever you want to do. This is again a trip which is included within the fees, and it makes for some really, really impressive photos. Another example, Chatsworth House. So, I mean, you can see there's a lot of kind of social events that we take you on. At the same time, you've got the whole of the city of Liverpool to explore, and you can very easily get out into the city and organise your own things. We give you a city tour on your first couple of days to make sure that you're comfortable in the city, to introduce you to where you can eat, where you can go out, all of that. But you'll find that Liverpool's a very easy city to enjoy yourself. So there's lots and lots of options. We'll introduce you to a few of them. So a typical day on the International Summer School, generally your afternoons are free. And we do that, as I mentioned, so that you can explore, so you can go and see the city. You might want to go into Manchester, which is about 45 minutes away. Over the weekend, you might decide you want to go up to Scotland or fly to Ireland, whatever you want to do. But generally, you start at 9. You'll be done with your classes by about 1 or 2 o'clock, leaving the afternoon to explore and to do any homework that you might have. And there's lots and lots of things that you can do. So although it's academically quite tough, academically rigorous, I should say, you will have a lot of free time to do your own thing. You'll have a lot of time to kind of explore the city, to meet with friends, and to really make those connections, which is what we like to see. And then we maybe take you on a tour to Anfield during the week, or maybe a weekend. Once in every 3 weeks, we do a weekend trip a bit further afield. So, what do students think? We really like seeing the feedback from students. So I won't read this out for you, but you'll see that people keep coming back to the friends that they make during the program, how much they enjoyed the university environment, and talk about the graduation ceremony, which is where everybody kind of gets together, takes pictures, normally cries a bit, all of that, and this kind of intercultural value of it. So there's some very, very positive feedback. And it is, it is a program that once a student has taken part in it, they do really strongly identify with the program and with the city as well. You can see somebody from Malaysia here saying they'll never forget about their experiences. The University of Liverpool is dead boss. Boss is a word that people use in Liverpool to describe something that's brilliant. So there is a very strong social element to the program as well as the work, and students leave being very, very happy with what they've done. So that's a very quick introduction. Hopefully we've got some questions. We can take some questions, or if there's something else that I should give you some more detail of, I'm very happy to do that, or I can direct you to some videos. The best thing, of course, is always to go onto the website, or check out our social media. We're very active on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you go to this link here, Linktree URL, that will give you the option to connect to all of our social media, so you can see everything that's going on. And even though we're all working from home at the moment, we're still updating and putting up pictures from last year and everything, and giving information. And you're very, very welcome to email us. You saw at the beginning, we're a fairly small team. And what that means is that generally we're talking to each other. So if somebody asks a question, we can answer it. But you also, who you're going to be talking to. So if you email this with a question, you'll talk to me, you'll talk to Simon, or you'll talk to Joan, and we'll be really, really happy to hear from you. The other thing is, if you are at a university and you think that it might be something where a group of students might want to take part, we're very happy to kind of talk directly to the institution, because that means we can potentially make it a bit easier for you in your application, and we can work with your university to make sure that everything connects properly. So yeah, that is a very quick introduction to the summer school. I will be happy to answer any questions that you have, and I will stop sharing this slide now and see where we are. Okay. Questions? Are there questions? Yes. Esin, could you please tell us about your language requirements? Yeah. So the language requirements, there's basically two language requirements. If you have an IELTS equivalent of 6, you can do the main program, the main summer school program. What that means is that you can choose any of the modules, any of the academic modules, and do that. So you could choose the business pathway, you could choose to do some of the history, some of the history modules, whatever it might be. That's if you have an equivalent of 6. And I say equivalent because you don't actually have to have an IELTS, like an official IELTS. What you can do is give us any evidence that you have. Maybe you've done a Pearson test, or maybe you've done a TOEIC or something like that. Or it might be that you are studying at a university, you're quite confident in English, you think probably you have got an IELTS of 6, but you don't want to pay however many lira it is to do the IELTS test, and that's fair enough. When you make an application, you just say that you haven't got an IELTS, and we will send you an online test. It's not, it's not a perfect test. It's not as good as an IELTS, but it will give us an idea of what your language level is. So and then we will say, yep, you are equivalent of an IELTS 6. Perfect. However, if you come in a little bit lower, than the IELTS of 6. For example, you do the test or you have an IELTS and it's like 5.5, 5, something like that. You can take the English for communication skills pathway. And it's probably worth talking about this a little bit. This is a pathway which is designed to get students who have got a slightly lower level of English using their English in an academic way to make sure they're kind of prepared for academic study, but also it looks at things like using language for employability, how to do a job interview, how to conduct business engagements, that sort of thing. So it's not a course just to teach you English. It's a way of getting you to use the English that you have in a professional or an academic manner. And that is, again, a 3-week program with 4 modules. So that gives you the option of doing some language. Everything else about the course is the same if you're doing the language pathway. So you're in the same accommodation. You have the same access to the facilities of the university. You have exactly the same social program. You'll be going out with the same group of people. You will be kind of mixed outside of the classroom. It's just that you're doing a slightly different pathway. So the short answer is 6 equivalent or 5 equivalent, depending on what you're aiming to do. And you don't have to have an IELTS. We can give you a test. But thank you for the question. That's something I should have probably talked about a bit more. Question from Açılan. What GPA for computer science and master? This is terrible because my job is basically short programs and summer school. I'm not going to be able to answer a question on computer science masters. I'm afraid it's not my area. But I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find that on the website. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find an equivalent for Turkish university as well. But if you don't mind, Arslan, what I would do is use your question as a jumping off point to answer a different question. So basically GPA. So we're asked a lot of the time because the summer school is an academic program. It is something, where we're getting undergraduate students in, and they are, there's some quite rigorous academic work involved in the course. Whether we ask for a GPA from students, currently we do not. And what we generally advise is that you have a conversation with your sort of international guidance team at your university if you have one. And that means that they can kind of recommend a course. They can say, yeah, do you know what? This would be a good program for you. You've got the right level to do it. So, or even if you talk to your friends or just have kind of a personal moment of personal reflection to see whether or not you think that you're kind of you're going to be okay studying in another country in another language. We don't want to rule anybody out because our teachers are very, very skilled and they're happy to work with people of all different levels. Equally, if at the moment you're studying business, for example, but you want to do something about musical history in Liverpool or something about UK culture, which is not related to your current study, fine. We're happy with that. I love it when somebody chooses something that's different to kind of diversify their experience. But equally, it might be worth having a conversation with whoever is responsible for sort of international exchange within your university, because they will be able to say whether or not that program will be recognized by the university, or if you need to choose something that's more closely related to your program. And again, we're really, really happy to have conversations with universities it makes it a lot easier. So we have connections with a lot of Turkish universities at the moment, but we're always happy to, you know, start more conversations. That's absolutely fine. But thank you for your question, Aslan. I'm sorry I answered a different question. Are there any other questions coming in? There's none that I can see, which means the danger is that I just talk for a while. But I'm happy to answer any final questions that do come in.
The fact that there is no more questions means that you explained it pretty well.
Yeah, maybe it means that. I mean, that's fine. I mean, to be honest, having questions at the end of these presentations, especially after it's been delivered in another language, is really difficult. So what I would say is have a look on our Facebook page. You've got our email address, which we can share again. If anything comes up, you know, when you're lying in bed thinking, oh, I wish I'd asked this, please get in touch, because my entire role is basically answering your questions. So if something comes up, feel free. There's no such thing as a silly question. I'm sure I've missed things in this presentation. Do have a look at the Facebook pages, because we've got loads of videos on there. We've got loads of information about Liverpool, the city, what you can expect to be doing. Of course, it's not, you're never going to understand everything from a presentation like this, or even from watching, going on the social media. But we have got students talking about their experiences, which is really, really important. And that's, you know, that's a fun thing that you can have a look at. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening, for asking questions, Esin and Arslan. That's really useful, and I hope it was useful in sort of planning for 2021, where we all, you know, hope and pray that everything's going to be back to normal, and we can start looking at you know, some international travel again, because that's kind of such an important part of university life, and it's something that we're really excited to share with you. But next year.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Can you please drop your email address on the chat box?
Yep.
If they have more questions, or if they're shy about asking questions, which happens all the time, so they can contact you personally.
Right, I just checked. I haven't made any typos. Basically, it's international.summerschool@liverpool.ac.uk. So that's the international.summerschool. That looks okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just getting used to being back on a laptop. But yeah, any questions, get in touch. There's a video there which is brilliant. There's more videos obviously on the website. Applications, I should mention. Applications open in October. So there is, on one hand, there's loads of time to think about this, but there's no problem in thinking about things in advance, because we do see sometimes that some modules are much more popular than others, so it's worth kind of getting in and making your selections early. So thank you very much, and I hope to see some of you in Liverpool at some point.
We hope to see you in Turkey sometime soon.
Oh, don't. Yeah, I'd love to. I can't wait. I can't wait to get back. You probably can't see it here, but I've got a picture of the. Got the Galata Tower up there.
Oh wow!
Which is from I really enjoy being in Turkey. So hopefully soon.
Yeah. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.